Hello, Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast, and I'm back again next this week. Probably gonna be a more weekly show for right now until we get more into the season and stuff like that. Next week, just the schedule for next week is basketball transfer portal with men's and women's basketball. I gotta probably find a guest for that. If you have any inquiries, let me know. Greg, if you have any opinions on who should come in, let me know. And I got Greg back here. And after that, probably going into IU football's off-season editions because
That's exciting.
we're back. We have never been so back.
Oh yeah.
And then once we lose our first game, it's Joe versus never been so Jover.
Yeah.
It always is. But anyways, this episode we're going to be going over IU basketball's off-season, both men's and women's basketball. Which I mean, I'm going to start. We're going to start with the controversial men's basketball team because controversial is putting it lightly. Um, I'll say my piece about how I feel about the season at the end, but to start, record-wise, they finished 19 and 13, 10 and 10 in conference play, and they were the second team out of the tournament. Should they have been in the tournament? I feel like they could have had an opportunity, but they squandered a couple of close games near the end of the season. Their stats in the Big Ten ranks, they had 74.7 points per game, which was good for 14th, 72 opposing points per game, which was 10th. Field goal percentage was 45.8, which is 11th. Three-point percentage was 32.1%, which was 16th out of 18 teams. And the free throw percentage was 70.5%, which is 15th. Rebounds was actually something we were good at. Um, it's 36.4, which is good for sixth. And what they're made up of was 25 and a half defensive rebounds, which was eighth. And just about under 11 offensive rebounds a game, which was tied for fifth. Thank Umar Bala for that.
Yeah.
Assists were just under 16 assists per game, which was good for sixth, and then 11.6 turnovers, which was tied for 14th. Their best wins of the season was a win at number 11 Michigan State, 71 to 67, which is why I thought we could have had a chance to go in to the tournament. Was because of that win. Win against number 13 Purdue, 73 to 58, and a sweep over Ohio State, 77 to 66 and 66 to 60. Wait, no, 77 to 76, I believe, not 66. I believe that I might
Yeah,
have.
no, we won that game by 1 point at Ohio
Yeah,
State.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. 77 to 60, 76. I think I messed that up. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, I think I put the numbers in. I think I fat fingered it. Then the worst losses: a loss at the Battle of Atlantis against Illinois, 61 to 89. A loss at Iowa, 60 to 85, and a loss at home against number 19 Illinois, 69 to 95. Yeah, we'll go into that. The players starters, one of the only consistent starters, Trey Galloway, averaged 8.8 points, 2.3 rebounds, 4.7 assists on 42, 37, and 64 percent shooting splits. And he has exhausted all eligibility and is graduated. And we'll talk about like where players are at after this season.
Welcome to the Shanghai Sharks, Trey.
I think for Trey, it's either I feel like he'd be a decent G leaguer.
Yeah.
He's definitely going to be playing for Assembly Ball next year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Him and Leal, they're coming back to Assembly Ball.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
Miles Rice, 10.1 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.8 assists on 41.2% from the field, 31.7% from three, 81.8% from the free throw line shooting splits. And he is in the transfer portal. I would like to have him back, but if the burners are right, which I don't think the burners are right, Kamish, uh, I love Hoosier Kamish. I love Hoosier Kamish. I don't know if you're right though.
yeah, was he the one that talked about the locker room thing or no?
Yeah, it was
That's
Kamish.
what I thought. I saw that out of nowhere and I was kind of like, I don't source. And then,
Like it seems like Miles Rice was checked out, after the
Yeah,
Purdue loss, it seemed like he was checked out a little bit.
yeah.
I don't know if
But
he'll come back. If not, hope he finds a good spot.
oh yeah.
Mackenzie Mbako, 12.2 points, 4.6 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 43.7%, 43.7, 32.9, and 81 shooting splits. And he's in the transfer portal, but is also looking into going in the NBA draft. And that's what I expected from Mbako. Um, I don't. I feel like he's either going to the draft or probably going to uh, probably Duke. I'm probably going to try to go back to Duke.
Maybe I don't know if Shire would take. Well, Shire probably would take him only because he's probably losing Flag, Gillis, and they have this. I forget his name. They have this white boy shooter who's like really good. Oh, what's his name?
He's going to be an
Uh
absolute menace in the Elite Eight. Then, if it's a white Duke white
oh
boy
oh
Duke
yeah, it's a
player,
oh yeah. I forget his name and I don't know how many years he has left, but he is crazy. Like when Flag was hurt, he was Duke.
have you seen the White American NBA player song?
No. What?
Uh, it's a joke song, and one of the lyrics is, "Assuming they went to Duke is such an awful pretense, white American."
Oh my
And they just
God.
had a picture of like JJ Redick, Grayson Allen.
God,
Uh,
Grayson Allen. Ugh.
what a menace to society.
I'm saying.
But I think Mbako's probably, he could make the league. I think he has the best chance to make the league, but it is what it is. I don't think he's coming back. I just don't think
Yeah.
he is. Malik Renew, 13.3 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists on 55.2, 12.5, and 73.3 shooting splits. He's in the transfer portal. He's probably going to Georgia.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
He's following the guy that got him to Florida. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
Mike
the
White.
I think that was his name too.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it sucks that it had to be like this.
I hope he's good
Hope
at
he,
dodging cars.
that's the football team, not the basketball team.
Yeah, but he's in the danger zone.
That's true. All right. And then last of the starters is Umar Ballo, 13 points, 9.1 rebounds, 2.1 assists on 62.3, 57.1 shooting splits. And he's graduated. I think he could be a decent G leaguer. Probably he's going to be at like Arizona's TBT team, probably.
Yeah.
Um, he had a pretty good season. I
Yeah.
think he got a really bad rap whenever he got spotted at upstairs.
Yeah, that was funny.
I think the fans just a lot of the older fans just turned on him and never really came back to him.
Bro, just let a man drink, okay? When you're blowing up Twitter and his DMs with death threats, like, of course a man's gonna drink. Jeez.
Yeah, it's not fun. I hope he finds happiness and peace. And also, speaking of going back to Renew, did you see that someone spotted him at
Yes, smoke time. That was so funny. Oh man.
like he's leaving Indiana. Of course he's gonna need to get some legal it just
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, not to
uh
like cut you off there, but
yeah,
we
yeah,
all,
it's just frustrating.
yeah.
Going to the bench, we got three major bench contributors. Luke Goody, 9.1 points, 3.1 rebounds, and point 0.6 assists on 41.1, 39.2, and 81.8 shooting splits. And he's applying for his medical hardship waiver. This is weird. This is a weird one.
Yeah,
It's
I thought,
either, I
how is
think,
he? I don't know
so,
how he has another year of medical waiver. I never
so
looked into it.
in his sophomore season, I believe, in 22-23, he only played 10 games. He played 10 out of the 31 possible games. So he is under the one-third uh, requirement.
Like barely.
But it's the last 10 games of the season.
What's wrong with that?
I believe in the medical hardship waiver. It says it has to be a season-ending injury.
Oh.
So it's weird. It's a weird middle ground. And I think one of three things is going to happen. He gets it, he doesn't, or he doesn't get any sues, and the NCAA is going to backpedal.
So he gets it, or he doesn't.
Yes, basically. He gets it, or he doesn't get it. But this is going to really decide what that hardship waiver means. You, is it just a games requirement, or is it a season-ending injury with a games requirement?
Because
I think that's going to decide a lot on the future of that. Anthony Leal, going ahead of Anthony Leal,
God
3.3
gamer.
points, 2.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists on 57.8, 41.2, and 61.9 shooting splits. He's graduated, going to become a Leal estate agent. Uh, and that's one thing I really like about Anthony Leal's career choice is just that it rhymes with real estate. So you can just do the Leal
The
estate
real estate
agency.
agent. Oh man. You
Imagine getting
saw
imagine getting clamped up by a Leal estate agent.
you saw how at the end of his senior speech he's like, "Yo, you need a house? I got you." And I was just like, that is so
Yes.
funny.
I got you. But Trey Galloway and Anthony Leal, I am very thankful for
Oh yeah.
because they came in with me my freshman year. Like they had to deal with Archie Miller the freshman season in their freshman season, and I would be completely honest, Archie Miller kind of screwed up with getting so many guards and forcing and convincing Christian Lander to graduate early.
I didn't know he did that.
Oh, I went to high school with Lander and
Oh.
he didn't need to do much to graduate early. All he needed was a government econ class, I think, and like that was very easy for him. Um,
The
it's
only the
just,
only the only thing I remember or care about Archie Miller is that one picture of him where he's sweating so much his shirt is like paper. Do you know what I'm talking
but
about?
yeah, I think so. But on that like 2020 team, it was like in terms of guards, you had Al Durham and Armand Franklin already there. Why, like, unless Archie knew that he was getting fired, why would you need to bring up Lander early?
Okay, I was wrong. It wasn't Archie Miller.
Oh,
It's Sean Miller.
oh, Sean Miller,
Are
the
they
new Texas
related?
head. Yes, they're brothers.
That's what I thought. Okay.
The new Texas head coach, Sean Miller.
Yeah.
But Anthony Leal dealt with a lot of just getting stuck on the bench and never really came out of it until this year. And he played really well whenever he was starting. So,
There was a Woody quote this year where he was just like someone was like, "Yeah, you've had Anthony Leal all these years and he's like really good. Why didn't you play him?" And then like it was such a horrible response from Woody. He was just kind of like, "Yeah, he's been here the whole time. He's been exuding a lot of leadership qualities and been really great. We just didn't play him." And I was just kind of like, "What?"
what a. I'm
Yeah,
like trying to just go back to it. I think that 2021-22 Xavier Johnson was there.
my goat.
2023, it's like I think Xavier Johnson. If I think if Xavier Johnson didn't come to Indiana, I think Leal would have probably gotten a lot more minutes. He just kind of got caught in the logjam.
Mm,
I think that's just what it is. And that happens. He got caught in the logjam his freshman year, never really got out of it until this year.
it
And then last but not
happens.
least, Kanan Carlisle. Oh, Kanan. I hope I hope wherever he goes, he does a lot better because this year was not a good year for him. 4 points, 1.6 rebounds, 1.2 assists on 28.9, 24.3, and 42.9 shooting splits. He was not good.
No, he wasn't.
And
I was telling Alex I was so high on this guy coming out of the portal. I watched like not like a lot, but a solid amount of Stanford film in preparation for him. I'm so sad, man. Like,
I think defensively, he looked like a good perimeter defender. I think he
yeah.
had that like good perimeter defense there. Showed flashes of it, but like heading into like just the offense was just I
It
blame Cliff Marshall. I blame him. I
I'm
blame Cliff
so
Marshall.
glad he is gone.
Yeah. And like I don't like to like just be at one person consistently, but when you have so many players that shoot well from three, just regress immediately once they get to Indiana.
I know, yeah.
It becomes a major it there's questions.
Yeah, because like not a like there's no way Woody's having them come in or Woody did have them come in and then completely change their shot form when he specifically recruited them for their 3-point shot. You know what I mean? It's like Cliff
Yeah.
was the only thing logically that would make sense that he's doing something.
And like well, this has been a problem since Archie's time. Like since he got there, Indiana's been one of the worst shooting teams in the country.
Yeah, I did the math a couple of weeks ago. We haven't like cracked like above 85 against an opponent that isn't like one of the what's the
Bad
word?
teams.
I
The
didn't
one of
want
the
to say
what
that, but yeah.
not bad teams. I would say mid majors,
Yes,
not bad,
yes.
mid
That's it.
majors, not bad. I don't know why I said bad.
Whoopsie.
My bad, my fault.
My fault. One of the mid majors in like 3 years or like 4, 5 years. I think we did it once against Iowa 2 years ago and we lost that game.
I think I remember that game.
I remember that because I was eating Chick-fil-A and we were winning and then we lost and I was so pissed off.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, Race got hurt.
It was during winter break. Yeah, it was
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, um, that was depressing.
I was
Uh,
so angry that day.
I mean, I'm not. Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be a little bit angry?
Iowa.
Darren.
Okay.
But yeah,
Um,
just going to my extra notes from this. The one thing that has really killed Indiana this in the last 2 years has been just getting blown out. Seven of the 13 losses they had were by more than 10 points, and four of those were by more than 20. If those four were by probably 10 points instead of over 20, if those four were just 10-point losses, Indiana is in the tournament comfortably
yeah.
as a net ranking. It just it that's what like just getting blown out is what has and that's my problem with the net ranking is that it punishes teams for getting blown out a lot more than winning big games close. That's just my opinion. It just I feel like the committee has been overly relying on the net ranking
Yeah.
because I think that's the main way North Carolina and Xavier got in was net ranking. Anyways, the team flat out just didn't fit well together, and a part of that I think is I loved having Ballo on the team. I just feel like we probably could have gotten someone else with the top end money, like another wing. Like imagine if we didn't have Ballo, but we kept Liam McNeely.
That's a completely different conversation, I
I
think.
mean that probably is, but
Because McNeely left because of the of how well of the direct McNeely left because we were ass last year. Like we had Khalil Ware. Um and M'Bako, but aside from those two, we were like not doing well at all. Um,
And I do feel like Dan Hurley was um tampering, trying to get him to get out of the portal, come to him.
I don't know much about that, so I can't speak to
I like
that.
I and like it's just speculation, but
Okay.
I wouldn't put it past Hurley after like I respect Hurley as a coach. He
He's a
feels
dick.
like the modern day Bob Knight. A very successful head coach with a really, really, really bad temper.
I don't know. Did Bob Knight ever? Okay, 'cause I don't think Bob Knight ever bragged that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he probably didn't. Well, yeah,
Because
but he
like
also, yeah, yeah, it's just
the way I think of it is I think how like you know how Signetti was like a disciple of Saban and how Saban had a crazy standard and did really well, but he wasn't very
yeah, braggot.
braggadocious. And obviously Sig was doing it to get like the energy back. He's probably gonna do less of it this year. I think Hurley's like the
Hmm.
same way of Bob Knight did that and didn't brag much and Hurley did.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. It's just he just was, yeah. Um, and I'll get to this. I get this is probably a bigger point later, but this team just felt exhausted in a lot of games. And a lot of our blowout games, it felt like they were just gassed like crazy. Whether it's mentally or physically, when we got into Big Ten play, or honestly, when we got like including Battle for Atlantis, it just they felt exhausted. Like I
Yeah,
don't
if
know.
you can see the energy and effort that most players play with, and that's why Leal is probably one of my favorites because man, like, is not a big point scorer, but you see like him go to toe to
He does all the little things.
yeah, you see him go toe to toe like 7 footers for a rebound and then like somehow get it, and you're like, what?
Yeah, it's just it felt like they just and maybe we shouldn't be doing power lifts before games if that's what's
What?
happening. If we are doing if like there is a rumor, I don't know if it's a rumor, but like they could be doing like the only thing that like just again speculation, not saying it's fact, speculation. It seems like to me they are doing lifts the day of games.
That'd be crazy. That would be actually bonkers.
I wouldn't put it past the strength and conditioning coach that's trying to be a football strength and conditioning coach to do it. As you know, whenever you lift and that day and you go to shoot a basketball, you can't hit a shot to save your life.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've been there, man.
Like it just it just felt like a strength and conditioning program that was focused a lot on building arm and chest strength for beaten down in the trenches Big Ten play
He's
when
gone.
it's
Whatever.
not that.
He's gone,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's all
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cliff Marshall can't hurt you anymore.
Cliff Marshall isn't real. He can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah.
But I would like of the players I'd like to see come back. I would like to see Miles Rice. Um, he had a very fun play, very quick with the ball, and that'd be very good for for the fast-paced offense that Breeze wants to bring in. And I've already talked about Woody Ball just not being very net friendly earlier.
Yeah.
Um, but also, if we would have won the Maryland, Michigan, or UCLA at home, we would have been dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Or either Oregon game. Like we probably were one win away from going dancing. We just couldn't get it done.
yeah.
And well, 3-point shooting wise, it was rough. 297th in 3-point attempts per game at 19.8 and 280th in 3-point percentage. That is bad. You're not. That is very, very bad. Did you see what Alabama did to BYU?
Yeah.
You can see what the Pacers did to the Wizards that same day.
Yes.
They were upset that LeBron did what LeBron did to him. I hate LeBron James as a Pacers fan. That's a whole
That was
nother right for
funny.
a whole nother story.
That was funny. I'm not gonna lie, as someone who doesn't care about the NBA, that was so funny to me.
LeBron James just rips my heart out and sticks it straight down my throat, forces me to swallow, and I have to say yes. Anyways, Liu Kang style. But a little bit more on a positive note, because I've been a little bit negative. Woodson was 500 against Purdue in Purdue's best like
Best
stretch
stretch.
in program history. You got that. And Woodson in his 4 years had four straight 19 plus win seasons. He is the first coach since Bob Knight to do that.
Woo!
And
Yay!
we're going to need a completely new roster next season because it's like the anti Smash Brothers because everybody's gone. Um, just before I do go, give it off to Greg for the rest of this. The
Yeah.
ninth,
Oh,
Mike
sorry, go ahead.
Woodson's tenure, in my opinion, at worst, is a mediocre platform for DeVries to jump towards greatness off of. I don't think it was a mediocre time. It was consistent, which is what you needed after Archie Miller. I had a feeling that that Mike was going to be a bridge coach, getting ready for the next guy, which probably the original plan was Dane Five was going to be that next guy. But I think I think Woodson is getting a lot of shit. Maybe rightful. I wouldn't say rightfully so. He's getting a lot of shit for doing what he could and he admits himself he was stubborn. He had a because he started head coaching in 2005 in the NBA. Like he brought that mid 2000s NBA mindset with him. And that sucks, but it that's what it was. It was like Indiana reverted to mid 2000s NBA, including the point totals.
Yeah.
But it's just I hate seeing Woodson like with all the stuff that's like come out against him,
It, it
and
it's not it's not right. Like Archie was bad, and then first 2 years Woodson does really well. Now most people argue it's because of Jackson Davis and Hood Schifino, which is fair. But even on like down years, like this year and last year, he still goes above 500 and gets us some quality wins against this year being Michigan State and Purdue, and then last year. I actually don't know if we had any crazy ones. I can't name them off the top of my
Wisconsin.
head.
That
Oh, the
five
fire
that
drill. Oh, no.
that like 6 game winning streak to end the season, which includes a Michigan State win.
Yeah, I
I think
remember
it was
those.
yeah.
The
The
Michigan State one
fire
was by two.
the
Oh,
the
the fire
Michigan
drill
State
one.
one was hysterical. The fire drill. Fire
No,
drill.
the Wisconsin one was the one
Yeah,
with
that
the
was
fire
Wisconsin,
drill.
yeah.
Yeah.
And whenever
Um,
we were all telling Smedley to play fireball.
yeah.
That I wish we could have done that. But um
In terms
I
of
am I'm
oh,
gonna be I'm gonna be grateful for Woodson.
yeah,
Um because I was able to just have my 3 years with Woodson was a good time. Trace Jackson Davis was awesome. I wish he'd played more in Golden State, but the guy that's a starting center is shooting like 41% from three, so I kind of understand why he's not getting playing time.
it's horrible.
It
It's the
sucks.
biggest robbery ever.
But probably once Draymond Green retires, Trace is going to probably fill in his spot. That's what they're probably building him towards.
Say it again.
Once Draymond retires, Trace is going to fill in for him.
Hopefully it's soon. Draymond is just like a nope, nope, never mind.
No, don't finish it. I've
Yep,
got my
yep,
opinions on Draymond too. I've
yep.
got mine.
He's a better boxer than basketball player.
No, okay. But
All right.
yeah, I'll leave it off to you. I feel like Woodson is very overhated for having, I say, a good tenure. I think it was good
Yeah.
for the circumstances that came out.
I got some random notes here just from all over the season. They're kind of mad and they're kind of like sporadic. I think the biggest thing was like I liked Malik, but like I'm kind of glad he's gone because we lost at least 2 games because that MF does not know how to kick the ball out. Like
It's
he
just
would take it.
it's inconsistent. Like it looks
No,
like it was better towards the end of the season, but like
no, he was not. We literally lost that Michigan game because of him. I'm not even kidding.
I don't think I
I
was able to watch the ending of it.
no, it wasn't even the ending. Like never mind. I'm gonna get too mad. But I need a man to kick the damn ball out. So and he did not.
Yeah, decision making was not his greatest strong suit.
I'll say.
Uh, like
Um
I think I said at the beginning of the season, if Malik can get better at kicking the ball out and decision making in the post, Indiana can go to the tournament. He's not get that much
um
better.
yeah. And then like the double big man lineup, which Twitter was always freaking out about. Like at the beginning of the year, it actually made a lot of sense to me to have both them in. Um Excuse me. But I feel like we should have been able to adapt more as Goody got in a stride. And then, we could have honestly benched Malik or Omar, depending on the day. I personally would have liked a small ball and had Malik in and then trade him and Omar and then maybe throw in Lagden whenever. Is it Landon? Lagden?
Yeah, Langdon Hatton.
Langdon, that's it. Yeah. And then keep it there, and then maybe have double big every once in a while when Goody's tired or you need to start the bench lineup. You know what I mean? As like a
Yeah.
solid core. Um, but we never did. And then after Woody was like said to leave, the lineup was just like put them all on a
Wonky.
wheel and see who it lands on.
I mean, I think at the end it was just put the Indiana guys in the starting lineup and go from there.
I liked that. I liked that. I liked
Yeah.
Anthony Leal being in the starting lineup because he gave us even if we weren't hitting shots, he kept us alive with his defense, and I liked that a lot.
White Americans.
Yeah, I said this earlier. I was so high on Carl at the beginning that I'm so pissed he didn't pan out. Like it could be for a multitude of reasons, but I just wish him the best, and I want to see that man ball like he did at Stanford. Same with Miles. I want to see that man ball like he did at Washington State. I just wish he could have balled here. I love Anthony Leal. That's it. Um, full
We all
stop.
love Anthony Leal. We all love Anthony Leal.
Yeah. I was kind of pissed that Tucker just stopped playing. I think that was a Woody decision, but regardless, he didn't like his last game on the floor was the UCLA game back in February. And I thought his mid-range was good, and I don't even know why we didn't play him.
I think why Tucker didn't get playing time was he was a pretty good mid-range shooter, but the team needed three-point shooting. And he just doesn't have he didn't have the strength. He didn't like have the force yet to really be consistent at because it just felt like he didn't well, I would say he wasn't confident in his three-point shot. So he would just go up and take a mid-range, and that's probably not the best look.
Well, let me tell you, the rest of the team did not find it.
I do agree on that sense, and the rest of the team did not find it. Um,
And then my last little point here, which I don't know, it's pretty niche, but essentially Barlow did an interview after the
mhm.
Oregon game in the Big Ten tournament where he was essentially just like, yeah, man, like you guys gotta chill. We've been getting death threats and stuff. And some people are like, wow, this is crazy unacceptable, all that. But then there was one lunatic that was like, hey man, when you're dealing with that amount of money, it comes with a job. And it's just sports, man. Like I know they make a lot of money, but that's just the way it is. LeBron like kisses a child and gets an extra $1 billion or something. But like the fan base is there to support and encourage people. Like we can't just like there are people on Twitter right now that are like, "What do you mean DeVries doesn't have a whole team right now? Fire this guy, kill him, like burn him at the stake." Like, can we just chill out and be like,
Which
"Yeah, yeah." Can we just chill out and be like, "Hey, man, DeVries gonna get it done." Like, be the same way we were with Signetti. Hey, Signetti's gonna get it done. DeVries is gonna get it done, all right? I know he will. And if he
yeah,
doesn't, hey, that's year one.
I think a lot of the death threats are more from degenerate gamblers
Yeah, yeah.
than Indiana fans. I will say that in the defense of the Indiana fans.
Why would you bet on Indiana, bro? That's your first mistake.
Semicolon, however, comma. So I gotta put it in basic on almost any
Uh,
episode at this point.
uh,
uh, the fans that say, "Oh, when you have a fan base as big as Indiana, you're gonna get that." Someone gave Trace Jackson Davis an actual letter, a physical letter, saying that he is a bad leader.
I remember that. I remember that.
This fan base is Looney Tunes,
How do you give TJD something like that, man?
and like if well, it's just DMs, just ignore it. It's kind of hard to ignore it in this day and age
Yeah,
where social media is big. It's hard to just ignore it and delete social media because players kind of need social media in order to get their highlights out to NBA coaches, or if they're playing a transfer and get those highlights out to other coaches.
yeah.
Social media is a necessary evil, yes, but death threats are just if you're getting so worked up by Indiana basketball in the year of our Lord 2025 that you are debating about sending threats
Go
to
outside.
players or coaches, respectfully
Go
touch
outside.
some grass.
Yeah, fucking
Get off the couch, get off the armchair, touch
go
the
do it
grass,
yourself, bro. Go pick up
touch
the
the
ball.
grass you haven't mowed in about a few months and just breathe.
Because, like, in all honesty, like, obviously these years weren't great, but we're comparing them to, like, crazy years with All-Americans and, like, Hood Schifino, Trace Jackson Davis, and then everyone always compares them to, like, the 1976 Bob Knight team that, like, went undefeated. And you're compared to the banners. Like, believe it or not, those banners are dusty as hell. And you got to realize it's going to take a lot of time before we can actually build it back. I think you're right that Woody is a great stepping stone from Archie. I think most things are, but the fact that Woody was able to win like that is really good. Now, granted, it was a little like the potential and the hype was not lived up to. What was that? Oh, it was recognizing my hand. Whoa, hold on. Whoa.
He's figuring out Zoom.
I don't
He's
use this.
learning.
I
He
hate
is
Zoom,
learn.
man.
He is learning Zoom. He is learning. But yeah,
It always went
um,
under the potential that was hyped though, and that's
yeah,
okay because it was still to a certain standard that was better than the previous. Okay, for
yeah.
me at least, that's what I think.
I do think recruiting high school recruits wasn't great under Woody, but that's probably part of it. It's just him being stubborn and wanting veterans that have played a little bit and believing that the veterans are probably the best they can get. But anyways, speaking of like the recruiting and transfer portal stuff, here's I think three guys I think Indiana is high on and are probably going to be major contributors if they get here. The first one is obviously the Tucker DeVries. He's probably already committed at this point. They just haven't fully announced it.
If we don't get his son, we are so cooked.
Oh, we are cooked. We don't get the coach's kid. We are cooked. But in his last season, 8 games, He only played 8 games due to a shoulder injury, which I know West Virginia fans are trying to be conspiratorial about it. If he, honest opinion, if if Tucker was actually trying to sit out and uh like try to sit out and like not play, get an extra year, why would the medical team even allow it? The honest question. How would the medical team even allow that if he was fine? Allow him to do surgery in the first place. Anyways, 8 games. He had 14.9 points, 4.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists on 45.5 points, 45.5, 50, and 86.6 shooting splits. Fun fact about DeVries, uh, he's he took 55 3-point shots and 32-point field goals, which honestly holds true for about 3 of the 4 guys that Indiana's reached out to. Connor Enright being one of them. Uh, DePaul, guy from DePaul, he's going to have a visit on Tuesday. Only played 23 games last season, 7.5 points, 3.3 rebounds, 6.2 assists on 35, 39.5, 32.5, and 62.3 shooting splits. Uh,
Um,
Enright shot 83s and 67 twos.
another target which I heard about, but I didn't want to say anything until it got posted, and On3 just posted about it. The St. John's player RJ Lewis. Remember they sat him with like 8 minutes
Yeah,
left. I heard rumblings he was going in, but he's going in or he's going to the draft. He's probably gonna do well with his draft stocks and go there. And even if he didn't and hit the portal, he probably wouldn't come here, but you never know. I'm just saying he's going to be a target for everyone.
yeah, I think I understand why he'd be upset with Patino because it's Rick Pitino. It's a hard coach to really not get along with. I'd say get used to.
If we're talking about the thing that Patino did where he sat him, he said in his interview, you know why, and if that's alluding to something in the locker room or something else he did, all right, fair. But if he's alluding to the shots he took, I watched that whole game. He shots just weren't falling. Some of them were bad, but some of them were like, all right, normal shots he takes. If that's the reason why, I don't like that reason with Patino. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just he struggled in that tournament game and got benched. Whether that's the reason he got benched was he struggled, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's all
But
point is he's
Patino,
in the portal.
yeah, it's also Rick Pitino. Like he's a hard ass. Uh,
All right.
he's an old school hard ass. But last guy, do you want to talk about the last guy?
Co- Sorry, I was looking at On3 while you were saying that in case
Oh,
anything got posted. Is it Conwell?
Conwell. Yeah,
Yeah. So Conwell, he was one of the guys at Indiana State when they did really well, and then he went to Xavier instead of following his coach to St. Louis. And he just entered the portal again from Xavier. He's an Indy, like he's from Indy, as you know, he went to Indiana State. And people are thinking hopefully he'll come to Indiana because Indy. In the last season at Xavier, he 16 and a half points, 2.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and then a 45, 41.2 and 82.8 shooting split. Pretty solid. I There have been a lot of rumors we've thrown the bag at this guy, and I'm chill with it. You know what I'm saying? I'd like this.
yeah. I think there's also another guy I'm gonna probably talk about next week, Isaiah Swope, that I really like to get. Another one of those Indiana State guys from that year, but he followed his coach to St. Louis.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a very, very interesting season next year. A lot of new faces, probably
Yeah.
all new faces.
Look, I got a football team to worry about first of all, so I'm gonna worry about them first. All right.
I
My
love how
goat.
we're
Sorry, go ahead.
the Mendoza line is here to wreak
I,
havoc on the Big Ten.
I was gonna say my goat Fernando Mendoza, Mr. Cuban Missile Crisis. Like I'm so ready for him. I want to start calling him that, man, because I think that's so funny. Yeah.
Oh God. All right.
So
Now,
let's talk about the women's team. The team that is a little less depressing. So
just a little.
yeah, just a little less.
Just a little
Um,
bit more than a little less, but yeah.
they went 20 and 13, and 10 and 8 in conference play, and lost to South Carolina in the round of 32. Their stats in the Big Ten were 69.9 points per game, which is 13th. The opposing team had 64.2, which is 8th. The field goal percentage is 45.4, which is tied for 6th. The three-point percentage, which is pretty banger, is 36.5, which is 3rd. The free throw percentage is 79, which is 2nd. And the rebounds are last, which I'm not surprised by, and I'm pretty mad about, but it's because of the offensive rebounds. It's the defensive rebounds were like seventh at 26.2, but the offensive were 6.7, which is gross. The
Think
assists were,
a part of the reason why offensive rebounds were bad is just how reliant we were at 3-point shooting.
well, it was a lot. No one followed their shot. Like
That's true too.
the three-point shooter can follow their shot, but you have to rely on someone else, either on the other side of the wing or in the center, to follow it too. Now, granted, obviously sometimes the three-point shot hits the rim and then, goes in the stratosphere or whatever. So that's hard to follow, but come on, you can't miss all of them.
Yeah, it was rough. Offensive rebounds were rough.
Yeah. So, uh we had 16.6 assists, which was eighth, and 14.4 turnovers, which was sixth. Our best wins were Baylor against Baylor, in the Battle for Atlantis, I think, or what was it? Is
Yeah,
that
it
what it's
was.
called? Okay.
Yeah, but
They were ranked 18th at the time. We beat them 73 to 65, and then we won at Iowa, and they were ranked 23rd, 74 to 67, and then we beat Ohio State at home, and they were ranked 8th, and it was 71 to 61. And the worst losses were against Harvard in overtime at home, 68 to 72. That hurt. And then against Butler at Butler, 46 to 56. That was a weird one to turn on. We'll probably win this one. What the hell?
yeah, that was bad.
And then I changed this one, Alex, because this one I think is actually worse. It's at Minnesota, 66 to 56, because Minnesota was on fire at first, but they're actually more of a gatekeeper team, a lot like, well, I don't want to say Nebraska because Nebraska I think lost to UCLA this year, but I meant Nebraska football, sorry. Um, they were a gatekeeper team, didn't make the tournament, and actually kind of fell off really hard, and the fact that we lost them in such a bad fashion, I think is
I,
worse than the Illinois one.
I could see that. I can see that.
So our starters though were Chloe Moore McNeil, 9.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists. She shot 41.4, 34.2, and 83% for the shooting splits, and she's an all Big Ten honorable mention, and she student graduated. And then we got Shay Shizeski, I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think so, yeah.
Um, nice. 11.8 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 2-point assists. 46.3, 39.2, and 93.2. Big free throw numbers. Those are the shooting splits. She's still on the roster, thank goodness. And then for
Finally,
Sid,
someone's on the roster still.
I know.
Like we
For
say this
Sid,
now.
not the freshman, because the freshman was injured the whole year. We got 11.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.9 assists. She shot 44, 33.3, which is crazy. She hit 1/3 on the dot, and then 74.6. And then she was also a Big Ten honorable mention, and she graduated. And then we got the GOAT, Yarden Garzon, with 14.4 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.2 assists, shooting 43.1, 40.7, and 90.1. All Big Ten second team. Robbed. And she's still on the roster. And then rounding out our starters, we got Caroline Striplin, 10.1 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 50, and she shot 56.7, which is crazy good. 23.1 from three, which I mean, like That's decent considering we didn't really expect her to shoot from three. And
Yeah.
then 81.7 at the free throw line, and she graduated. And then with the bench, yeah, the bench was definitely there this year, one of the benches of all time.
One of the benches of all time.
So we got Lexus Bargeser with 3.4 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 1.8 assists. She shot 35.9, 31.6, and 63.4 in shooting splits. That is a not good free throw percentage, but she's in the portal now. I should just say all these bench players in the portal, Lex, Jules, and Lily. Jules had 2.3 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 0.7 assists. She shot 34.3, 35.1, and 58.8 from the stripe. Again, that strike percentage is bad, but she always seemed to manage to make a three when needed. I always told
Hmm.
Becky that like Jules would literally come in for 5 minutes, drain one three, take one charge, and then leave, which I always thought was so funny because she did
Yeah.
that like 4 times. Anyways, and then Lily had 6.7 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 0.6 assists per game. The shooting splits were 51.8, 11.1, and 67.2. And yeah, she's also in the portal. The 3-point percentage is obviously bad, but I think she only shot like 7 or 8 and made two.
Yeah, I think it was just I think Lily lost a lot of her confidence when she got put to the bench. It sucked.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We'll get to my notes real quick. So I
Hmm.
watched every single game this year that I could that wasn't on the Big Ten Plus. Oh, yeah. So I this is like the first thing I put with the rebounding numbers. It felt like we never followed our shots. I played basketball with some of my friends, and sometimes I will put up like a floater two or like a three, and I always get yelled at by one person who's like, "Follow your damn shot, Greg." And then I started doing it, and I've always fought for the rebound. And then ever since they told me that, I always see it when they don't follow their shot. Like we were talking about earlier, like if it's a three that bounces off the rim and it's just like we can't get it. Like some of those, yeah, you just can't get. But those ones where
Yeah.
like there were so many rebounds where Lily or Caro were right there. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like it's telling when Sid Parrish has the most rebounds on the team.
I mean, I'm not shocked that Sydney has the most rebounds because I think she probably did last year. I think she led the team in rebounds last year because Mackenzie was not a good rebounder.
But it wasn't close. Like I think like the numbers are here. I just read them off. Sid had 5.5 per. Caro had 3.5 per, and Lily had 3.5 per. Like
Yeah.
that is a big differential. I know it's only two per
But two
game, but
rebounds is a lot, though.
yeah. Um, I also think the injuries mess with us a bit because we had the freshman Sydney, who probably wouldn't have done well. Maybe she was like a god gamer. I don't know, but she probably wasn't going to do God's work. But I think the Lene Beaumont one, her being out for the whole year, really messed with us. That's
Hmm.
what Terry alluded to in the beginning press conferences, because Lexus was also hurt. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it caused like we needed to gel like that, and we really didn't, and that's why we kind of lost some of those Harvard games, kind of lost some of those Butler games, and that's fine. Um, I wish this is just me. I wish Faith played a bit more, especially in those earlier games. But considering I just said we had to gel really fast, I understand why she didn't. Um,
She played well against Utah. I think she
yeah,
played with the minutes she played well against Utah.
and USC, I think.
Hmm.
Um, um, this is my biggest thing. And I hate to be negative because I love all these players so much. I get so excited when they do well and when they're out on that floor. I think it was a crazy regression from Lexus, Lily, and Juliana. Now, granted, Jules didn't have that many minutes last year, but it just kind of felt like I said, she like every time she went in there, she drained like one three, she took a charge, called it a day. Like not fighting for more. And it's really the effort size, like for Juliana at least. I guess I was just expecting her to grow much more, and she didn't, and that's okay, but it's a little disappointing. Um, I felt Lexus wasn't confident at all in her shot. Um, there were a lot of open like jumpers or threes she could have taken, but then she hesitates, and then the defender's already on her, and she can't take it anymore. And then there were just a lot of missed opportunities, I think, where she could have taken it and she didn't. And then my biggest gripe was Lily this year, and it was so disappointing because I know we had Holmes last year, but even when Holmes wasn't in, I thought Lily was great last year and the year before. And it's not a numbers thing, it's an effort thing. It's the way I watched her play and not fight for those rebounds or like never get really hype when she made a really good play or something. It just felt like she didn't want to be there. Now, granted, maybe something's going on the outside, and if that is, I hope it's going well now. I just, it's difficult for me to see you get paid a solid amount and not put your everything into it when you can. And that's why,
Mm.
again, I said if something's going on the outside, I hope it's going well now. I just
Yeah,
felt like,
it to me when Lily got benched by Striplin, I think it killed her confidence. I think she lost a ton of
but
confidence.
it's a team game. Like
Yeah,
that's the
it
thing.
is, but like I was looking at it in her shoes, she was expected to be the starter after Mackenzie Holmes, and just that in general is a ton of pressure. Is to be the starter after probably the greatest player in program history just graduated. And you got to fill those shoes.
That's okay. This is gonna sound like a lot of like armchair analysis, but that's like a level of like you know how Sig like brought in Fernando Mendoza and
Hmm.
we expect him to be the starter. However, if he isn't, we know it's because Mendoza did not properly like prepare and stuff like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I'm saying that for Lily. I expected her to replace Holmes, obviously not be as great as Holmes, but still do solid, you know?
Yeah,
But
I just think I hope wherever she goes, she regains that confidence and is willing to be back to where she could be because I think she could be a really good player.
yeah.
I just think there's a lot more mental than physical, and I'm not trying to blame her for anything. It's just that's just what I from what I can tell. I think.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying, we hope all these players, as well as Charnice and Henna. Henna is my goat, bro. And I wish we got to see more Charnice play, but they transferred as well. I hope they all find great places and ball out. I'm
Hmm,
trying to see them ball and keep up with them and be excited and happy for them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Another thing we didn't mention, well, actually, you talk your stuff, then we'll talk about transfers, and then I got something
yeah,
else. Go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
The big thing with this team is this is a Terry Morin. This is a Terry Morin program. Defense is always going to be there. They're always going to keep the games close. We're going to force bad shots. We're going to get some turnovers, and we're going to do well defensively. This offense was just super inconsistent. This season, Indiana had 14 games where they scored under their average, and they were 2-12 in those games. Last season, they were only held 8 times, under 78 times, and they were 3-5 in those games. If they were able to reach 70 points in every game, they would get 6 more wins, including beating South Carolina. I think it's just the offense was not great. And I'll go into more in a little bit as to why I think. The offensive rebounding wasn't just bottom in the conference. It was 6th worst in the country.
Oh my God. I
So
didn't know that.
out of 353 Division One programs, Indiana was 348th. The only schools that were worst were Valparaiso, St. Bonaventure, Colorado State, South Dakota, and Xavier. That it was offensive rebounding, probably a big part of why it wasn't great. But it's I think it's gonna be I think a big part was just the disparity in 3-point shooting. Um, it's just 3-point shooting was I can't remember the stats. I remember seeing it at the Oregon game.
Hmm.
Like when we won, we were I think above 40%, and when we lost, we were around 30% from three.
Yeah.
It's just got to be consistent there.
Yeah.
Um, but on a more positive note, even though we did deal with some injuries, five of the top eight players played every single game this season. Um, but we're gonna need to hit the recruiting trail hard this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Losing basically all of our bench is gonna hurt a lot, and it'll be interesting to see if we play any underclassmen. Just looking at the freshmen, Mikaluski is a 6'3" player that's listed as a guard. I could easily see she's listed as a small forward on Peegs, but or 24/7 or it's Indiana's one is Peegs, but I don't know why. But and then Navia Caffey is a true point guard. Um, and both are top 15 at their position and top two in their state. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Indiana needs a consistent scorer.
Yeah.
Someone that can consistently get 15, 16, 17 points a game, and a majority of them are in the near the 20s. Whether that is Yarden or senior season, I think that'd be great. I think I don't know, or if it's someone new, who knows?
Sorry, I'm checking real quick
Yeah,
to
it's just
see if
it.
there's any updates on the portal people, which no, they don't seem to be.
Yeah,
It's still really early, so I wouldn't expect there to be.
yeah. One thing that's helped me out with at least the men's basketball season, the transfers is IUoffseason.com. I think can't remember. I think it was made by Tony Adragna on Twitter. He does a lot of like he did this.
It says
Um,
Tucker DeVries is committed on here.
it's basically committed at this point. I don't know if it's official, but it feels like he probably should be.
Also, I was checking women's basketball, bro. This is just men's.
Yeah, I don't. I may need to ask if like he could do women's basketball. But just wanted to put that.
Sorry, that's more of what I meant. I was checking women's basketball on my phone. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good. But yeah, do you
Okay.
want to go into the possible transfer portal watch list?
Yeah, okay. So So the other day, Gracie Miracle transferred, went to the portal from Penn State, and this season she went 15 and she had 15 and a half points, 8.6 rebounds, and 1.2 assists, and shot 67 0 threes and 60.2 from the stripe. Is she a? I don't know what year she is. Um,
She is a sophomore.
Okay, that's what I thought. So her development could come in still. And I think she has that connection from Shay. And didn't she have a visit this weekend? It was this weekend, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
according to Skim Mulkey.
That's who I was looking at on Twitter, bro.
It was according to Skim Mulkey. Speaking of like that, did you see Kim Mulkey's outfit?
Yes! And
That
they
that is
won! They won! I can't believe it!
that is the most Kim Mulkey outfit I've ever seen in my life.
I
Because she,
know.
because she looks like a a Chinese empress about ready to uh lay down the law on someone.
What? Okay. Yeah, she had a visit this weekend, and we're apparently the front runners. I bet it's that connection from Shay, and hopefully Shay's doing it. I bet she would do a bit of recruiting because this would be big for us.
Hmm.
And then we have Riley Makaluski. Is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, if not, my bad. She's from Butler, and she's the sister to the IU recruit Maya Makaluski. And at Butler, she had 8.1 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in 32 games. And she shot 37.3, 30.3, and 82.4, which is all right, but there's definitely room for development within our staff. Now, this one's kind of, Alex and I talked, this one's kind of a shot in the dark. Um, Cody McMahon went into the portal, and that's a big name. Now, there isn't really a connection, but she is just one of the top players, and we figured we'd throw her on here just in case she happened to go here. Personally, I don't think she will because I feel like she has some beef with Yarden because Yarden's like a hard ass is the only word I can
I
think of, and I
think
feel like they'd butt heads. Sorry, go ahead.
I think with Yarden, she's just so no nonsense. Like she just has the same face over and over again, and you can't get her to really show much emotion. And
Then maybe they'd get along in that aspect.
but like I think with Cody, a lot of what she does is annoying, very
What do you mean?
annoying at Ohio State, like the press defense,
Oh yeah.
the charging, like the just full on downhill driving. If that could, and if they that can get very annoying if it's consistently called a block when it's probably a charge.
Um. Anyway, but the big numbers. She shot 16.5 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 2.1 assists, shooting 44.4, 37.4, and 63.9. Again, that strip number. I not the best, but that's all right.
It's all right. Um,
And there'll be more portal names to come. Again, there's still a lot of teams in the NCAA tournament. There's still a lot of people deciding. There's coaching changes happening. Once everything gets more concrete and we get more into May, then more names will start to come,
hmm.
and
Yeah,
hopefully we'll
for
have some
both
more
teams.
evidence. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like whenever Braden Smith enters the transfer portal, it's going to be
For
massive.
Kentucky.
No, to Indiana.
No, no, I do not want that guy. I
What,
hate his,
you don't want Andrew Luck's cousin, Braden Smith?
I hate his beard, dude. He looks like Walmart Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whatever.
Does. It does. I if he goes anywhere, I think he might be going to Stanford. I don't
I
know.
thought I heard again, this is just Twitter crap, so don't take it with any validity. I heard like Kentucky was going to offer him a bag.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. It's Kentucky.
Yeah. So,
That's
I
all.
don't
That's
know.
all they do. They just offer guys just tons of money. Like, but imagine the discourse if Braden Smith transfers to Indiana. Just
Dude,
imagine, imagine the discourse.
that'd be so weird.
He would be the most hated man north of Indianapolis
I feel like were we going
after
to talk
being the
about
most hated man south of Indianapolis.
something else or no? I forgot.
You were to say something with women's basketball. Um,
Did I
uh,
allude to what it was? Because
yes you did.
I forgot.
Dang. Uh,
Oh, wait, I kind of remember. Um, in terms of a reboot year, because we lost Scalia and Holmes, I think this is pretty solid. Again, another 20 win season. That's pretty baller considering what we had, the struggles and all that. Oh, I remember the core of it. I think this is just speculation. I think because there has never, I've been here for like 4 years and I've been watching the portal since I got here, and there's been like maybe one or two that leave. There has never been this many Indiana players leaving. I think a lot of conversations were had, and Terry is finally upgrading from, for lack of a better term, a good bench to a great bench. Hopefully, trying to get one out of the portal. And that's why so many of them are leaving. Because as much as I love the players like Shanice, Hannah, Jules, Lexus, and Lily, they were on and off. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Lily had some great games, but they never had like the star dropping 15 to 20 points every game in a while. They'd get maybe six and we'd be really happy and then call it a day. And that's good, but that's not a great bench. I think some tough conversations were had, and that's why they left. And Terry is really going to try and reload with the great incoming freshmen and try and match that with some great bench presence and starting presence. I think if she can play the portal game right, which I think she will, considering the bag we got from football, I think it's going to be a really good upcoming season. And even if it's not a really good upcoming season, it's going to show a lot of potential. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? As long as we don't get a million graduate students, you know?
Yeah. Gracie Merkel is probably the one I would want the most, not just because of her shooting. She's also 6'6",
Oh,
which which if we are destined to play South Carolina in the NCAA tournament every single year, which it seems like, you're gonna need some big inside presence to deal with those 6'7" trees they have in South Carolina.
I want Don Stanley and Terry Morin to have like a photo album of each other, like where they like I don't know, where like they hang out or something. Sorry, that sounded really weird. Like the amount they see each other in the tournament, they should be friends. That's essentially what I'm saying. Maybe they are friends.
I respect Stanley as a coach. Like I think she is a really good coach,
Yeah.
and I hope South Carolina wins it all just because it'd be fun for them. It's gonna get
They're
annoying
not gonna.
eventually. Who do you think's going to?
I think it's UConn. I think
Death,
Beckers
Texas,
is
Gino Auriemma.
what?
Death, Texas, Gino Auriemma.
Yeah, I think Beckers is playing really well, and I think Ozzy is as well. And I don't know all their players, but they're just actually murdering people.
Hmm.
I think it's them or UCLA because I've been watching a lot of the Carolina games. We talked about it earlier. They barely got out of that Maryland game alive yesterday. Even against us, they were playing horribly in the beginning and then
Yeah,
decided to turn it on.
for
Um,
one quarter, and that was enough to beat us.
Exactly. That's not going to work on some other teams. Um, Here, let me bring up the bracket I had real quick, only because
Yeah. Well, I don't think UCLA is, USC is winning it. I don't think USC is winning it anymore.
no, you of course you saw Juju's ACL tear, right?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
that
horrifying crap.
yeah. I feel like I was at the Big Ten tournament game when IU played USC. And she's good. She's really good.
Oh yeah. Um, Duke's not going to win it. South Carolina's not going to win it. UCLA has a chance. LSU has a chance, but not a good one. I think TCU could be a surprise if they win today. I don't think Texas will win it. I think UConn's the favorite, and USC is. I think her name's Kiki Rice, right?
Yeah.
The yeah
USC.
yeah
Kiki Afirin.
USC
Kiki Afirin.
Fearin. That's it. I'm thinking of someone else. She's really good, but she's like the only other player on that team that I would.
She she made every single mid-range shot against Indiana. It was ridiculous. Turn up
I
face
know,
mid-range. It was in every time. Like we
I
could
know.
supposed to do. That's good defense. It's good contest. That was. It wasn't just Juju. That was frustrating. It was a
No,
fear and just
but
yeah.
you need like a second X factor because she has not been, she's not, again, she's not bad at all, but she's had some off games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the path right
Game against
now.
Indiana, but we should have game against Indiana, but
I'm looking at the path right now, and the way it looks right now, South Carolina could theoretically go to the championship game, but still be bad, is what I'm saying. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about this all much. I just like have been theory crafting this for so long, and I think South Carolina is actually just getting lucky in these games.
Hmm.
So, okay, I'm
Yeah.
good. We'll probably be
Yep.
better
I think
next
that.
year.
Yeah. Uh, Hopefully next year is great.
Yeah.
Um, because people are already calling for Terry Moore to get fired or her seat to get hot. So.
I saw that. I wanted to kill that guy on Twitter.
Ah.
I have never been more mad at a sports take in my life. Someone posted that, and I was like, "You do not know ball."
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
say
just
anything, but I was so mad.
this man. Yeah. It's just. Uh, Depends on what happens next year. We're gonna have some fun though. That's gonna be it for today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms. I'm gonna ask you, how do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? How much level of pain are you feeling with IU basketball this year?